The girl intentionally angered her father, making him angrily break her leg. It wasn't until she heard the sound of her bone cracking that the girl finally showed a satisfied smile, because only when her injury was severe enough could this abusive father face serious consequences. In her previous life, her father had callously abandoned her and her mother for a new lover. Her mother worked 3 jobs a day to pay for her schooling, carrying heavy cement and cleaning the dirtiest toilets. Finally, the day the girl received her university acceptance letter, her mother happily passed away. The girl, devastated by the loss, chose to end her life. But she found herself reborn, back to the day when her father abandoned his wife and daughter. This time, she decided to lighten her mother's burden. Without hesitation, she chose to live with her father. This shocked her short-tempered father greatly. To eliminate his doubts, the girl intentionally claimed that her father had the money to provide the life she wanted. Her father was pleased when he heard this. Meanwhile, neighbors outside mocked him, calling him a heartless ingrained wolf. They didn't know that the girl was filled with hatred, vowing to avenge her mother. On her first day at her father's mansion, the cunning stepmother assigned her the dog's bed. Meanwhile, the dog got the big room upstairs. Her father didn't oppose this at all. Later that night, the girl was drenched in cold water by her stepmother. The stepmother immediately falsely accused the girl of stealing her necklace. As the girl was about to retort, the stepmother raised a fish tank to smash it over her. At the crucial moment, the woman's stomach pain caused her to stop. The next day, at the dinner table, the stepmother apologized for what had happened the previous day. The girl was slow to react, and her father's slap came down heavily. Faced with the two of them working in tandem to make her life difficult, the girl unexpectedly agreed with her father's education. She quickly changed the subject and suggested installing surveillance cameras at home. Her reasoning seemed sound. It would make finding lost items easier, and more importantly, she could monitor the baby's movements on her phone after it was born. This left the stepmother with no way to refuse. What she didn't know was that the girl's plan was to gather evidence of abuse from her father and stepmother. This would allow her to bring them to justice later. However, her plan soon faced its first obstacle. At school, a righteous teacher soon noticed the many scars on the girl's hands. The teacher immediately called her father and stepmother in to discuss the situation. The stepmother stroked the girl's hair and warned her to be clear about what to say and what not to say. Otherwise, she would be sent back to suffer with her biological mother. Initially, this threat wasn't enough to upset the girl, but the stepmother added that the reason she gave the girl her name was because the father had always thought of her after marriage. At that moment, the girl felt as though the sky was falling. She never realized that even her birth was a mistake. The girl then decided to plan ahead. She immediately sought out a classmate's father, asking how to get abusive parents punished. But the man told her that typical abuse cases usually only result in 2 years in prison. The girl then asked how to get a heavier sentence for her parents. He replied that unless the situation was extremely severe, the sentence wouldn't be long. To achieve her goal, the girl started deliberately making small mistakes at home, and various punishments followed. One day, she added a little too much salt to the dish. Her father, furious, was about to get up to teach her a lesson. But just then, the doorbell rang. When her father saw who it was, he immediately panicked.